that attitude of perfectionism can keep us from moving forward, that we need to learn this and this and this, and there can be so many items on that to-do list that we never get to the action step, and we sit back and go, oh well, and we do the excuse thing. Now I'm going to cover some of this in the workshop that's coming up, so stay tuned. End of the week I will be announcing it, okay, by Friday. So stay tuned for that workshop on how to the 5 tips for landing your first position as a beginner paralegal, okay? And so important for you to know this. So I would like to know, if you feel like giving me feedback here for everybody watching, or you can email me privately, but what are your current struggles in trying to land your first position? People will often say to me, it's about lack of experience, but all of us entered in, and I don't mean me because it's 32 years ago, but people entering in now are getting in without experience. So that's what we'll cover in this upcoming workshop. So stay tuned for announcements, okay? I'm pulling all the info together for you. So we're going to have a 3-day workshop, an hour a day, starting at 12 Eastern. So get prepared. There'll be a nominal fee for that, okay, to be part of that workshop. You can take notes. I highly recommend it. But perfectionism can keep us bound, and it's rooted in fear often. And the excuses can be, well, I don't want to make mistakes. I don't want to make mistakes going into the field and during my time as a paralegal. Well, that's what we strive for as paralegals. We don't always attain that. Okay, so going into the field is the topic for today. And you don't have to be a perfectionist. You have to take action in order to land that first job, and you have to believe in the fact that you will get the job, but you need more concrete information than that. You know, you can believe all you want, but you have to be able to prove some things to the hiring attorney. And so that is one of the items we're going to cover. We'll have a private group, and you can ask, and I highly recommend you come with questions and you ask questions. The feedback is important for me as a presenter of this information, and one who has been down this road often with having to prove myself. Okay, and you still, as a beginner, you have to prove yourself, and that's not rooted in your degree or certificate. There are other things you have to do to say, I will be ready on day 1 in certain areas, but they know you're a beginner. So you have to take some pressure off yourself that you have to be perfect. You do not have to be, okay? It is not needed. Oh. Yeah, it's not an issue. I appreciate your comment, but it's absolutely not an issue, because even though an ad says that, should that stop you? And we're going to talk about that in the workshop. And if you let it stop you, then you're going to be sitting there without a job. And so how do you overcome that? You don't have experience. They say it in the ad. Does that mean you shouldn't apply? And when you do apply, are you applying in the right way? And say, what are you proving to the attorney? Oh, hold on, guys. Don't freeze. Say, I'm going to apply anyway, but before you apply, I would highly recommend you attend the workshop that's coming up. Okay? What happens is that I've done this. I did this for, oh gosh, probably the first 3 to 4 years of my career in Oklahoma. And and I'm sure it stopped me from getting interviews. I'm sure it did. Florida from Oklahoma. And I tell this story often, Cece. It's that 2 attorneys called me and they clued me into what I was missing. And this is what I'm going to talk about, part of it in the interview, in the workout, part of it in the in the workshop. And I had to prove some things first. Even as a seasoned veteran of 3 years, when I moved to Florida, I was missing the boat, and beginners miss the boat. You're like, well, Leslie, you had experience then. No one was hiring me because I wasn't doing this. And I was using my, any knowledge I had, I was not even covering it. So we attend the workshop if you can. It'll be like a nominal fee to get in that workshop and take notes. And this will change how you apply for jobs. This will totally change it, or it should, because attorneys are so willing to hire beginners. They are. They tell me that all the time. But what they don't want anybody depending on, get ready for this, is the 2-year degree or the certificate, because it's just like, that's just tip of the iceberg knowledge, and they need you to know a little bit more. So we're going to go into that. Okay, and that workshop will be an hour each day for 3 days. And let me tell you what the fee is for the workshop, $10. Okay, so it's worth it to invest in yourself. Okay, and let me tell you, I am nervous before every interview. I don't care if you have 50 years experience. I am nervous before every interview, but the preparation for it, this goes to preparation before you send your cover letter and resume out. They spend 15 seconds on your resume. So what are they looking at? They're looking at your cover letter, but they're not looking at a cover letter to introduce your resume. That's what I was using it for. Okay, so we're going to talk about how not to do that and what to do, okay, in those 3 days, over the course of the 3 days. So we can feel excited about a workshop and attend the first day and skip the other 2 days. That's not going to serve you. So I would say commit to 3 hours of your life, and it'll be in a private group and on Facebook. I'm also going to stream it to, if I can, we'll see, stream it on YouTube, but it will be just for people who have signed up, and it will be unlisted. So I'll have a link on YouTube as well. So I hope I can do that. If not, it's just going to be on Facebook in a private group where you can ask all the questions. And, Cece, the fact that you just popped up here and said what you did is the mark of a really great paralegal, because the paralegals need to ask questions all the time to make sure everything's on track. And asking questions, we'll talk about this a little bit in the interview. We'll say to the attorney, I'm going to ask questions on the job as well. That's a reassurance to them. And it may be something you might not have known. Okay, that's how they feel. And the more info you can provide them, not that you're detail oriented or you have a strong work ethic, you're an incredible proofreader, they expect all that. We're going to talk about other things that you need to prove. Okay, so stay tuned for that. You'll see ads coming up, I hope, for the workshop, and I'm hoping to launch it next week. Okay, so if you feel, if there are any other struggles that you're having right now, those fears, those doubts, or you've tried and nobody's responding to you, then post them here. And oh great, I would love to have you there, Cece. You can email me, because that will be helpful. It will help other people too, and that's paralegalcoffeetalk@yahoo.com. Okay, easy to remember. So stay tuned for the upcoming workshop. Perfectionism, striving for it, is needed for the job. Definitely. We strive for it. We don't always succeed. Sometimes we make mistakes. Sometimes we drop the ball. But in the beginner paralegal growth accelerator class that I run, that is a multifaceted course. We go into the tools to use to what do I use those tools for? To make me feel stress-free, to have all the details just right there, because that's what our responsibilities are. So I'm a recovering perfectionist, and I want you to not think you have to be that to get the job. Okay? There are certain things you have to do that I believe you're missing, and it has very little to do with experience. And there are things that are holding you back that don't need to, and that includes job ads that say 1 year experience required. Okay? There are ways to overcome those barriers as well. So stay tuned for more on that, okay? Have a great day, and I'll talk to you in the next video.